All my life, I've been a lover. I've loved everything about people. I love the way people laugh. I love when people aren't afraid to laugh. I love the unspoken connections that bring two individuals together and the emotions that they feel safe sharing with one another. I love the idea of loving people and having it reciprocated back to me. And I know for a fact, I'm not the only person that feels this way. 88% of people reported wanting to marry for love. Love is a prevalent concept in our society. We all experience these feelings of love at different intensities. However, I don't know a single person that can confidently tell me that they've never felt these feelings of love for anybody at any point in time. Raise your hand if you plan on getting married later on in life. Or I see some older people in the crowd. Raise your hand if you already are. Raise your hand if you've also had a friend be your safe space to vent to during a tough time. Exactly. All of these are deemed to be normal human behaviors. We stick together. We love one another. But why are we like this? Why does it seem that we are almost wired to be this way? Well, that's because we quite literally are. Now, let's get right into things because we're gonna have to time travel for a moment. Okay, you see, us humans in love, we go way back. When I say way back, I'm talking like ancient Mesopotamia back. Let me paint the picture for you. Myth after myth being told to you, intricate rituals, sun-dried clay houses, and most importantly, royalty. Education in ancient Mesopotamia was not like education today, as I'm sure you can assume. It was reserved strictly for the nobles who could afford it. This sadly means that many people at the time who lived in ancient Mesopotamia did not have the knowledge necessary to be able to read or write. This means that a lot of the early history of human love and affection was limited due to the fact that there weren't many people who could put their love into a form that could be preserved and later reviewed by historians in the present day. Love was likely expressed through song and dance as well, though never being able to be recorded. However, just because I said that concrete information was limited does not mean I said that it wasn't there. A variety of love letters and poems were uncovered dating back to around 2000 BC in ancient Mesopotamia. The oldest uncovered love poem was found written in Sumerian on a clay tablet and was used in a ritual to marry a king to the goddess of love and war, Inanna. It was said that this ritual was to ensure fertility and prosperity for the coming year. But was this really all there was to it? Or was there a biological drive that was motivating this king to be married? Was there a need that needed to be fulfilled? Of course there was a need. Evolution has a hidden agenda for everything. Do you see a baby? Do you think that this baby knows how to live on its own, advocate for itself, find its own food? No, of course not. Babies require a lot of care and attention from external sources because their brains are not yet fully developed. In fact, if it were just normalized to give birth to your child and then go your separate ways, humans would have never gotten to this point, ever. We would not know how to fend for ourselves, and we would just simply be killed off. Now, this does not meet our evolutionary requirements to thrive and expand as a species. This is exactly where bonds and attachments come in. They come into place to satisfy our desires to continue on as a human race. John Bowlby's attachment theory John Bowlby, a British psychologist, came up with the attachment theory after performing a study on the associations between maternal deprivation and juvenile delinquency. John Bowlby argued, from an evolutionary standpoint, that this attachment represents proximity-seeking behavior, which is a strong biological drive. This proximity-seeking behavior then promotes the chances of survival to a reproductive age where this cycle can then be continued, hence meeting our evolutionary requirements. This study is what led to his conclusions that there was, in fact, a universal human desire to form close bonds, primarily between mother and infant. However, this also applies to romantic relationships as well. Collaboration equates to higher chances of survival. When two people can stay committed to each other, it increases their chances of raising children together and continuing their family lineage. Our gene pools are protected by love because it's keeping us connected and alive. Our own brains are working powerfully to keep this cycle going too, and sometimes we don't even realize it. Have you ever had a crush? Why is it so hard to just get that one person out of your mind? This is because being love-struck actually causes a chemical reaction in our brain that causes it to release mass amounts of dopamine. This dopamine is what activates our reward circuits and is then what causes these feelings of love and attachment about your crush to feel so intense. In fact, it has been reported as a pleasurable experience that is as comparable to the feelings of cocaine use or alcohol. That's right, love is addictive, baby. A similar reaction also occurs when a mother hugs her child as well. Oxytocin is a chemical released during all hugs, as well as other acts with skin-to-skin contact. Oxytocin promotes feelings of contentment, calmness, and security associated with mate bonding. Are you starting to see how your own brains and bodies are working powerfully to strengthen these feelings of love when you're with the people that you care about? So, we know that love is in fact real. We also know that love has existed since before even the average person knew how to spell the word love. So to put it in simple terms for you, it's super old. We also know that love was put into place to keep us together for survival purposes, as well as to procreate. Love is so deeply embedded into us that our own brains and nervous systems react powerfully when love is in the air. We are designed to seek love. But then tell me, if it is something that is universally wanted, why is it not something that everybody has the opportunity to experience? It has been reported that 50% of marriages end in divorce in America. 50. Half of our marriages. Excluding the marriages where there are just other motives and there is not love to begin with, because that is a whole other topic and area. Half of the couples who promise to share the rest of their lives together go back on their word. Now, why does this happen? Perhaps we need to begin to look inwards and pay attention to how we are loving. Psychologist Robert Sternberg breaks down this complex feeling of love into a way that is easy for us to understand. His triangular theory of love considers 3 dimensions of interpersonal relationships: intimacy, passion, and commitment. Each type of love can be explained using a combination of these 3 dimensions. A friendship contains intimacy, but lacks passion or commitment, whereas an infatuation simply contains passion alone. In order to love successfully, you need to be aware of what type of love you are trying to seek. It is clear that not many of us are fully aware of what we are looking for when 75% of couples had cited lack of commitment as the reason for their divorce. Love may be something that is universally wanted, but it is something that comes in so many forms. This is why we must begin to look inwards and become aware of what relationships we are trying to nurture, as well as what we are emotionally available for. Many people may be ready for marriage at one point in their lives. However, are just simply not emotionally available for it in the present day. This does not mean that their life still can't be full of love. They can still find it in flings, friendships, parents, etc. In addition, I believe that us humans need to learn not to be ashamed or afraid of love. It has stayed with us through generation upon generation for a good reason. It is keeping us all connected and alive. I believe that understanding that love has held such important purposes for so many years can also help us in our acceptance that it just isn't going anywhere anytime soon. So, the best thing for us all to do is just participate and spread the love around. And like I said in the beginning of this talk, it will be reciprocated back to you. Thank you.